Sir Alex Ferguson sacked for 4 Erik Ten Hag. Join me now for Manchester United, the D in its feud. Look, it's a I tell you what, INEOS are starting to, I think they're starting to get, the goodwill I think is starting to disappear from United fans, generally speaking. The results on the pitch aren't good. And I think that this particular announcement in regards to Sir Alex Ferguson ending his ambassadorial role, I mean, all you have to do is type in Google Sir Alex sacked and all the papers go with that headline. Sir Alex sacked, Sir Alex sacked. So many of them go Sir Alex sacked before Ten Hag. And look, it's a very sensationalist like headline. It seems to be, it's being reported that it was Ferguson kind of agreed with the stepping down. I mean, he is 83 now, so that would make sense. But for a club that has started the season so poorly and amongst the other cost-cutting measures, there's different ways of looking at it. There's people that grew up like me. I was born in 1986, the year Ferguson came to the club, and I didn't know anything other than him until the last 10 or so years. And like people sit there and go, you know, what's £2 million? I mean, and like to break it down, that's like, I think Anthony is reported to be paid like 12 million plus pounds a season. That's like a sixth of what he gets, and he does absolutely nothing like for his money compared to what Fergie still would be doing. He'd still be meeting with sponsors. He's still like, United are as big as they are now, mainly down to 2 people, Sir Matt Busby and Sir Alex Ferguson. There's a reason why they're both called Sirs as well, because they're both brilliant managers, once in a generation, once in a lifetime type managers. That's how good they are, and they deserve everything that they've ever received and all the praise and whatever. Now, Ferguson might have just chosen to agree with that, and maybe he was surprised that they kept him on in his ambassadorial role for so long. At 2 million, it's reported to be about £2 million a year. I mean, like, that's pretty good for just being an ambassador. I mean, we do have other ambassadors as well, like Brian Robson, Andy Cole, Dennis May, people like that are also ambassadors. I'm not sure how much they get paid in relation to what Ferguson got paid, but it makes sense that the Glazers would pay Ferguson that much money because, like, he's the only good manager they've ever had. And look, there's a few different ways of looking at it, and I'm going to try and be as objective as possible rather than taking sides. There's obviously a lot of fans backlashing the fact that, you know, it's not good. Why are we sacking Fergie before Ten Hag? Like, and then obviously you've got all the Ten Hag in and all the Ten Hag out, and I'm definitely in the Ten Hag out at the moment. I actually think that Fergie would be winning games of football with this squad. That's how good that man is. And for me, I can understand why INEOS have done it, because they've obviously made 250 other people redundant that, you know, were in low paying jobs that reality don't even equate to like probably one of the players. But they've got all this cost cutting measures going on. And this is because of the fact, and I'll get into this a little bit later on, they need Champions League football this season. Like next season, they have to be in it because this is all down to trying to, what's the word I'm looking for? Make sure we're compliant with PSR. That's the word, compliancy. Lost it there for a second. Being compliant with PSR. So this is all about trying to like cut costs and stuff like that. And like, let's be honest, United were the most staffed club in the English Premier League, but they're also the biggest. And we might not be the best, which we're definitely nowhere near the best, but we're definitely still the biggest club in England, in the United Kingdom at this present point in time. That's fast going to be coming under threat if we don't pull our shit together on the field ASAP. And that's where we'll get into a little bit. But that's why I think the timing of this is just so poor from INEOS. I mean, the team has been absolutely awful, bar the FA Cup win, for about a year, maybe closer to 18 months, maybe even more. That's how bad we've been. It just doesn't look good. And, you know, I can understand why they've done it, though. So, like, for me, I just think that Fergie's like the sacrilegious thing. And then there's also been like reports in the media, and there's been no substantiation from this or whatever. It's just been reported in the media that apparently Ferguson and the board have been banned from going into the dressing room at Old Trafford. which is a long-standing tradition. David Gill and all them used to go in after games and stuff, and Ferguson obviously has been doing that as well. I don't understand the point of that. I mean, like, maybe the fact that they're playing such shit football and Ten Hag's having these conversations and don't want any more leaks, I can understand that potentially is one of the reasons why that is. It just doesn't make much sense to me. I think that if you've got legends of a club at the club, they should always be allowed in the dressing room. That's just my personal opinion anyway. I mean, like, it's just like even when the junior leagues or whatever, it all filters down. You're still like there's people in the clubs that I used to play with in Perth that are in WA, obviously, if you're not watching and you're from Australia, like, where the hell's that? Perth, WA. All the old blokes that used to be the kitmans and that, they just come in after a game and just like hop in the change room and listen to the team talk and stuff. I don't see what the problem is, but apparently that's a rumor to be like a changing of the policy. And then obviously getting rid of Ferguson, who, you know, is still seen as, and revered. He is Man United loyalty. Like, since Bobby Charlton's no longer with us, rest him, that's it. We've got Ferguson and that's about it. So, look, I just think it's poor timing from INEOS. I understand the reasoning why they're doing it, because, like, they've sacked all these other people and they're basically saying that no one is safe. Well, if no one is safe, why is Erik Ten Hag still in a job? That's all I would say to that. And we'll get into that a little bit later on. But yeah, it's not a good look. INEOS need to own the decision, and it's safe to say that their goodwill that they had, like, obviously we're brought in all these football people, and like I've been hearing people argue, we've got to give them time for, like, we've got the structure right above like the manager and all this. But let's take a look. Like, Jason Wilcock's done a fantastic job. Omar Barada, I think you could agree. Dan Ashworth, I really believe the jury is out on him as a sporting director, or whatever you want to call it. Like, he did oversee some really good players at Brighton, and Newcastle, it's a little bit more dubious, because in reality, which players did he oversee that got bought in there that are actually good? Like, Isaac obviously looks like a decent striker. He's better than the strikers we've got. That's 100%. I'd take Isaac over Højlund and Xerxes any day of the week. But other than that, and maybe Anthony Gordon, who's pretty good as well. But other than that, Dan Ashworth seems to jump ship before he can really be read. Like, he's only in like jobs for a couple of years and then whatever. So, like, I think the jury for him in particular as that sporting director is definitely still out, especially after the summer window we've had. So let's be clear about that. I still think that some signings were just poor, and INEOS, like, they've been ruthless. Like, Jim Ratcliffe is a ruthless businessman. That's how he's made his money. That's how he's made his billions of INEOS. It's why he's not a UK resident, so he doesn't have to pay taxes. Like, he's a clever man, a very clever man. But I think they're sitting there treading water because they know, I think now, that they stuffed up in the summer. And the longer this debacle goes on, that they blindly are backing Ten Hag without actually coming out and saying anything about it, I just think it's not good. It's not good at all. I'm not sure where they're going with it. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. I mean, like, Erik Ten Hag's job, somehow, he has survived. It's hard to believe he's back in training now. And he hasn't been sacked before. Sir Alex has been sacked. It's just hard to believe. Sir Alex has been associated and being paid by Manchester United for over 40 years. That's how much of a big news story this is. And people go, whatever. But as I said, I do understand where they're coming from in regards to why they're doing it, because they're trying to, bring the whole house in order. I just think that, this timing is just no good. It's just no good. The timing that they've had on this particular piece of news ain't good. Now, some other news for you. Manchester United today, 4 hours ago, released a press release saying that Tiger Beer has become Manchester United's official beer partner. Now, Tiger Beer, if you're unaware of what that is, that's an Asian-made beer. It's actually widely consumed in Asian countries. I've had one when I have visited Thailand on holiday, and it's not the worst beer in the world. I wouldn't say it's the best either, but it's not bad beer. And again, the commercial side of the club, top notch. Like, I don't know where they pull these deals out of half the time, but they're making money off that. And that's where it comes back to. Like, Erik Ten Hag's come out and said, basically, you can all have a big bag of shit to the INEOS board after essentially sacking Sir Alex. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know, because obviously, he's been played by the Glazers for so long. Is he now going to be able to come out, because he's no longer actually getting paid by the club, and actually just say what he thinks of what's going on. Are we actually going to get some real Ferguson with like some weight behind his words and basically saying, he doesn't know what's going on? I often think about the time that's passed since Sir Alex retired and think that what must he be thinking? He built the club up, knocked Liverpool off the perch, and he's literally just watching it before his eyes crumble like a house of cards back down to past where he probably picked them up. That's how far we have fallen as a club. And we've just continued to drift. And the fact that INEOS have made no decision on the manager. And look, we are going to look ahead to Brentford now. I've just thought this Sir Alex thing. I wanted to provide like my kind of contextualization on it. As I said, I just don't think it's a good look. I understand it, but it's not a good look. And I think that, the redundancies that have already gone out, and now you've done this. It's just, it's the work of a ruthless businessman more than anything else. And like, there's going to be more upheaval. It's clear now there's going to be more upheaval under Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And, everyone always gives stick to the Glazers, but I can tell you, the Glazers last season, if they were the ones in charge of the football, would have sacked Erik Ten Hag, and INEOS didn't. Now, time will tell whether INEOS made the right decision, but at the moment, I'm almost 100% certain they didn't, and they should have broken ties in the summer because they then went to the tune of almost 200 million in backing the decision to keep him. And let's be honest, the people who sit there and go, he needs time, whatever, and, etc. INEOS had already decided to sack Erik Ten Hag before the match against Manchester City. Somehow, the team played the game of their lives, and all the evidence that they'd seen over the preceding 6 months since they took control of the football side of the club was thrown out the window based on one game of football. Now, I was trying to articulate this argument to a friend the other day. It's like me going into work, and I'm a teacher by trade, I'm deputy principal. It's like me going into work and just phoning it in for 199 days of the 200 I have to work each year. And just doing an absolutely shit job of it. And then one day I roll up on a day that matters. Maybe we've got the education boss of Australia coming to see the school, and I'm just amazing. I'm absolutely amazing. I blow them out of the way for that one day. Do I deserve to stay in the job? I don't think so. That's what we're talking about here. That's the stupidity of the decision that was made in the summer. And now they've doubled down on it and they've backed him in. And we're 7 games into the season. I know it's early and people say there's plenty of time to turn it around. Well, you tell me where the wins are going to come from and where the goals are coming from under Erik Ten Hag. Because we've got Brentford at home this game week, who, let's be honest, they have not won a away match in 24 in the year 2024. So they've obviously played some hard teams already away from home. So they've played Liverpool, I think Arsenal, and it might be, I'm making it up, the Tottenham maybe? Tottenham. Yeah, those are the 3 games they've played away this season. But I can guarantee they're going to come to Old Trafford with huge confidence, thinking that they're very likely to get a win. I mean, let's be honest, I would roll up to Old Trafford with my under 16s and think that I'm likely to get a win at the moment because I don't think they're going to score. That's the state of the affairs that we've got going on. And Brentford, and it's going to be such an awkward afternoon because Thomas Frank was one of the managers that was linked in this, before they decided to stick with Ten Hag. And it'll be super interesting if he ends up walking out of Old Trafford with a win. I actually made the comment in the Perth Man United Supporters Club that, if Erik Ten Hag doesn't win and Thomas Frank does, then they should stop Thomas Frank from leaving Old Trafford, sign him up and boot Erik Ten Hag out the door. It'll be a very uncomfortable afternoon for everyone involved if Brentford get the win and, we go from that. So, look, not the best thing in the world. But so we're going to have a look at the early team news for the game. So here we are, United versus Brentford. Now, Manchester United have huge amounts of injuries. And it's going to be really interesting. Erik Ten Hag's press conference is slated for 1 p.m. tomorrow on Friday afternoon, UK time. And the defence is going to be a really interesting point. So we still have no Tyrell and Malacia. We have no Luke Shaw. Now, people have also been commenting about the stupidity or maybe the lack of foresight in regards to allowing Alvaro Fernandez to go to Porto on a permanent deal. It made sense at the time because obviously they were getting some money for him, but we have no left back, and we haven't had a left back for pretty much since February last season when Luke Shaw went down for the, fifth time or whatever during the season, and we haven't seen him since. And now we've got Mazraoui obviously is out probably for the next month with, after that minor heart procedure. And Malacia, we don't know how, he probably won't be back until at least Christmas, you wouldn't have thought. So that's 3 of the 4 fullbacks out of the squad. It's just Diego Dalot. And thank God he's fit. He never seems to get injured, which is a miracle because he plays about as much as Bruno Fernandes. Maybe it's something to do with the Portuguese. They just never get injured. I don't know. Maybe we need some more Portuguese players so we don't end up with all these injuries all the time. But we also have Harry Maguire joining him on the sidelines and Lisandro Martinez. I don't know if he's going to be 100% fit. Obviously, he's been away with Argentina. He did come on for them, but hopefully he's good to go. We'll just have to wait and see. And then that leaves De Ligt, Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof because Lenny Oro is still out injured as well. So, it's going to be... And Erik Ten Hag seems to have no faith in Harry Amass, which you would think would be the logical choice. Get the left back from the under-21s, whack him in. Hell, we've been playing like so crap anyway. Who cares? Like you're just throwing him in. And Juve has a surprising way of just being good. Like they have less fear than quite often the first teams and stuff. So if it was up to me, I'd be actually playing a specialist left back, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be either Johnny Evans or Victor Lindelof at left back this weekend. You can almost guarantee it. Lock it in now. That's what Erik Ten Hag will do, and we'll probably get absolutely slaughtered down that side. But look, it's hard to be positive. So many memes going around about Manchester United and not being ready and whatever. So look, we do have other injury concerns as well. So obviously Alejandro Garnacho, what am I about? Kobbie Mainoo and Amad Diallo were all withdrawals from internationals. So I'm guessing they're all going to be fit and be available to be involved. Manuel Ugarte also went off injured while on international duty just overnight or the other night. So again, he's going to be another injury concern. He hasn't. And Mason Mount, who knows if he's recovered from his head knock that he had and he's missed the last 2 fixtures. Surely that head injury can't be keeping him out. Or is he picked up another muscle injury? He just seems to be a walking injury corpse at this particular point in time. So, look, meanwhile, Brentford, they're looking pretty healthy. None of their players came back with any injuries from international break. Matthias Jensen, who scored at Old Trafford last season, he's been unavailable due to a calf injury, but apparently he could be in contention to feature as well. So... But thankfully, Wissa and Henry and that seem to still be out of their season out of the Brentford team as it appears at the moment. Now, the other thing I want to go back to and cover really well. Now, if you want to watch some good football from a United team, go and check out the ladies team. They won 3-0 again on the weekend against Tottenham. So, they're playing great football. If you're sick of watching Erik Ten Hag and the team that is coming under him, and he is getting to levels of Louis van Gaal, where it's just becoming boring to watch. It's not good football. Any more of those Villa games, I think we're always going to be done. But look, we're probably going to sit there and watch him. I don't even know. You can normally predict the lineup, I think, on the Man United website, and maybe you can't. You used to be able to do it. Or maybe they do it on match day and it's whatever. But look, the other thing I thought was really interesting, and this is always a bad sign that the fans are not on board. Now, normally it's super hard to get a ticket to watch Manchester United particularly in the Premier League and, well, normally in the Champions League if we make it because it's so rare now. But have a look at this. Now, if I go to Brentford and the home game, you'll notice how many available sections there are of Old Trafford that have seats available to buy. And you wonder why that is. It's because of the fact that the team aren't playing well, the fans are losing faith 100% in Erik Ten Hag and subsequently the team. It's not a good look. And that's the scary thing. That's the worrying thing that we've just got to watch. I mean, like, Manchester United are in danger of just becoming an irrelevant force. And that's just sad. That's just an indictment of the club. And David Beckham's come out and given an interview today about the minority owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and he said it's great that they need to make the necessary change to Manchester United, and it is going to take time. And there is going to be teething things. There always is when something new changes and you have change. There's normally a period of upheaval. But, I mean, they've got to start getting results. And that comes down to the manager. And again, as I said, I've been saying all season, they made a mistake in the summer. And I'm sure if they could turn back time now, they'd say, thank you very much for the win, Eric. And they'd say, see you later. And they would have gone and got someone else. I mean, and someone said there's no real options at the moment. Well, I'm telling you, it wouldn't take much to get better results than what Erik Ten Hag's getting at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Because realistically, Erik Ten Hag has been poor for a long time. Like, we're not talking 5 games like Ollie had pretty much when he had that Watford, the Liverpool and the Man City games, and you could tell the writing was on the wall. Well, the writing's been on the wall for Erik Ten Hag for about, I don't know, I'd say about 18 months. Since the Carabao Cup, the results have just consistently fallen off they've nosedived off a cliff. That's the best way of putting it. So, I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know what the answer is. I would expect on the weekend that we're going to line up in something like this. There'll be a Nana in goal. On the left back will probably be Johnny Evans, because let's face it, Johnny Evans is a boatload better than Victor Lindelof. Then it's probably going to have to be Martinez and De Ligt if they're both fit. We'll just have to wait and see. God knows who it's going to be if they're not fit. Victor Lindelof, well, that's why I stayed, baby. I knew I was going to get games. On the right will be Diego Dalot. In the midfield, well, I'd say Ugarte's a 0% chance of playing if he got injured and came off injured in like literally last night or whatever it was, which means that it's probably going to be Eriksson, Cobby, and Fernandez is available. Yes, he is available. He's banned in Europe. He's available. I got confused because all the red cards. So he'll be definitely playing because, look, Erik Ten Hag always plays him regardless of whether he's playing well or not. And let's hope that, he didn't do much for Portugal during the international break either. And they played him for a full 90, I think, in there as well. So it just makes no sense what's going on with Bruno. Then who knows who plays up front. He'll probably play Højlund. He'll probably play Rashford. And he'll probably play Garnacho. But look, the way the team's functioning, they literally look like 11 witches' hats out there that have just been thrown together and hope that something clicks. And I really want to be optimistic, and I'm excited to watch us play again on the weekend, but my God, I'm scared that we're going to lose. Like, let's be honest, I'm scared because we've seen no substance to any of the play since probably, the Fulham game was all right, the Brighton game was okay, but it's just not been good football in general. And we've lost too many games. I think that there's no confidence in the team. I mean, hopefully the confidence has been rebuilt, but I talked about the fact that he went on holiday, and I don't think he should be going on holiday, but hopefully a week's worth of good training with the players that have been back at the club. Hopefully we actually roll up against Brentford. I mean, they haven't won away from home. They don't have a good away record. Brentford have also not kept a clean sheet all season long. So if there's a chance for us to actually score, it's in this game because Brentford haven't kept the clean sheet, but it would be true ironic Manchester United fashion under Erik Ten Hag that Brentford have the kickoff to start the game and they score within a minute. Because the Brentford have actually been scoring like ridiculously quickly at the start of the half or like the start of the match all season long. And Manchester United, the way they normally set up, wouldn't surprise me if they were asleep and they were behind within like 2 minutes. And then it's just, a mad, like we just don't come back and win games. That's the truth of that. So we can only hope that Erik has studied this and they are prepared for it when it happens on the weekend. But alas, we wait and see and we go again. So look, hopefully you're optimistic. I'm optimistic we can turn around and get a win. I just don't believe Erik Ten Hag's the man. And, you know, this could be one of his final games. If this game doesn't go well, if they don't get a win here, it's looking grim. It's looking grim. And then Jose Mourinho is awaiting after this game. So, look, the pressure's all on Ten Hag. I'm interested to see what he says at the press conference. I'm sure that the injuries are going to be used as an excuse because that's what he does. He says they're not an excuse, but in reality, he's using them as an excuse by mentioning them in the first place. There's no excuses for me. He's had long enough. If we don't start seeing some good football now, it's time to go. It's time for INEOS to be the ruthless businessman that Jim Ratcliffe is and just dispose of Ten Hag and move forward with someone else. I mean, it's very rare that a new owner comes in and the manager survives, and it's actually a shock that he did survive in the summer, but I dare say they're probably regretting that decision right here, right now. So look, I'll join you after the game. I will be doing a live watch along for this game because I'm combining it with my fantasy Premier League show as well. So if you are interested in watching that and watching me watch a game of football, probably with very gritted teeth and not believing with what's going on, please join me for that on Saturday afternoon, or if you're in Australia, Saturday evening. I'll join you then. That's been the D Unit out. Make sure you like the video and subscribe.